Yes. Chapter 21. I could hardly wait for my day to end. I promised Lisa I could hang out with her and the others after school. I should have been fun, but the minutes dragged by. I was too restless when curfew came around. I split off from them, ran back to my dorm. I asked the woman at the front desk if she could call up to Dremit's room off limits to students because I had an urgent question for him. She had just picked up the phone when Clisthea walked past. He is not there, she told me. She had a large bruise on her side of her face. Some non-voice have gotten the better for her. Some non-voice who was not me. I think he was going to the chapel. You will have to see him tomorrow. You cannot even be there and back before the crow comes. I nodded meekly and acted like I was heading to the students' wing. Instead, as soon as she was out of the sight, I headed back outside again and ran to the chapel. She was right. I was not going to make referral, but hopefully Remit could make sure I got back without getting in trouble. The chapel's door were unlocked when I reached them. I walked in and saw all the candles lit, making all the gold ornaments in the room sparkle. The process must still be working, but when I stepped inside the sanctuary, he was not there. Dremet was, however. He sat in the last pew. He was not praying or kneeling or anything. He just sat there looking quite relaxed. Although he was not a practicing member of the church, he told me he often found peace here. It gave him chance to think about his life and the deeds he could done. I always thought he looked good, but just then something about him nearly made me come to standstill. Maybe it was because of the background, all the polished and colorful icons of saints. Maybe it was just the way the candlelights shone on his dark hair. Maybe it was just because he looked unguarded, almost vulnerable. He was normal, so wound up, so on the edge, but even he needed the occasional moment of rest. He seems to glow in my eyes, kind of in the way Lisa always did. His normal tension returned when he heard me come in. Rose, is everything okay? He started to stand, and I motioned him down as I slid into the spot beside him. The faint smell of incense lingered in the air. Yeah, well, kind of. No breakdowns, if that is what you're worried about. I just had a question, or, well, a theory. I explained the conversation with Alice and what I could derive from it. He is impatient, the expression thoughtful. I know Alice. I'm not sure she is credible, he said when I finished. It was similar to what he could said about Victor. I know. I thought the same thing, but a lot of it makes sense. Not quite. As you pointed out, why are your visions are irregular here? That does not go along with the word theory. You should feel like you did on the plane. What if the word was just weak? I answered. He shook his head. That is impossible. Words take months to wear down. New ones are put in place here every 2 weeks. That often? I asked, unable to hide my disappointment. I could known maintenance was frequent, but not that frequent. Alice's theory had almost provided a sound explanation, one that don't involve me being incensed. Maybe they are getting stacked, as suggested by humans or something like we saw before. Guardians work the grounds a few times a day. If there was a stake in the border of campus, we could notice. I signed. Trimmer moved his hands over mine and I flinched. He don't remove it though, and as he did so frequently, guessed my thoughts. You thought if she was right, it could explain everything. I nodded. I don't want to be crazy. You're not crazy. But you don't believe I'm really seeing ghosts. He glanced away, his eyes starting to flicker off the candles at the altar. I don't know. I'm still trying to keep an open mind. And being stressed is not the same as being crazy. I know, I admitted, still very conscious of how warm his hand was. I should not have been thinking about things like that in a church. But, well, there is something else. I told him about Anna possibly catching Valdemar's intensity. I also explained Adrian's editor observation. He turned his gaze back on me, expression speculative. Have you told anyone else about this, Lisa, your counselor? No, I said in a small voice, unable to meet his eyes. I was afraid of what they could think. He squeezed my hand. You have to stop this. You're not afraid of throwing yourself in the path of danger, but you're terrified of letting anyone in. I don't know, I said, looking up at him. I guess. Then, why could you tell me? I smiled. Because you told me I should trust people. I trust you. You don't trust Lisa? My smile flattered. I trust her, absolutely, but I don't want to tell her things that will make her worry. I guess it is a way of protecting her, just like keeping Strigoi away. She is stronger than you think, he said, and she could go out of her way to help people. So what? You want me to confide in her and not you? No, I want you to confide in both of us. I think it could be good for you. Does what happened to Anna bother you? No. I looked away again. It scares me. I think the admission stunned both of us. I certainly had not expected to say it. We both froze for a moment, and then Remit wrapped his arms around me and pulled me to his chest. A sob built up in me as I rested my cheek against the leather of his coat and heard the steady beating of his heart. I don't want to be like that, I told him. I want to be like everyone else. I want my mind to be normal. Normal by Rose standards, I mean. I don't want to lose control. I don't want to be like Anna and kill myself. I love being alive. I could try to save my friends, but I hope it does not happen. I hope we all live along happy lives. Like Lisa said, one big happy family. There is so much I want to do, but I'm scared that I will be like her. I'm afraid I won't be able to stop it. He held me tighter. It is not going to happen, he murmured. You're wild and impulsive, but at the end of the day, you're one of the strongest people I know. Even if you're the same as Anna, and I don't think you're, you two won't share the same fate. It was funny. I could often tell Lisa the same thing about her and Valdemar. She always had a hard time believing it, and now I understand. Giving advices was a lot harder than following it. You're also missing something, he continued, running a hand over my hair. If you're in danger from Lisa's magic, then at least you understand why. She can stop using her magic, and that will be the end of it. I pulled away slightly so I could look at him hastily. I ran my hand over my eyes in case any tears has escaped. But can I ask her to do that? I said. I have felt how it makes her feel. I don't know if I can take that away from her. He regarded me with surprise. Even at the cost of your own life? Valdemar did great things. So could she. Besides, they come first, right? Not always. I started. I could had. They come first, drilled into me since I was child. It was that all guardians believed. Only the dampers who could run away from their duty don't subscribe to that. What he said was almost like treason. Sometimes, Rose, you have to know when to put yourself first. I shook my head. Not with Lisa. I might as well have been with Daria or Ambrose again. Why was everyone suddenly challenging something that I could held as absolute truth my entire life? She's your friend. She will understand. To make this point, he reached forward and tugged at the chocati peeking out underneath my sleeve, his fingertips brushing my wrist. It is more than that, I said. I pointed to the cross. If anything, this proves it. I am bounded to her to protect the Dragmarois at the all cost. I know, but he don't finish. And honesty. What could he have said? This was becoming an old argument, one without a solution. I need to get back, I said abruptly. It is past curfew. Your very smile crossed Drummond's face. And you need me to get you back or you will get in trouble. Yeah, well, I was kind of hoping. We heard some rustling near the door of the sanctuary, and Father Andrew walked in, which definitely ended our session. He was getting ready to shut down the chapel. Drummond thanked him, and then the two of us headed back to the Dampier room. Neither of us spoke along the way, but it was comfortable silence. It was weird, but since his outburst outside the medic clinic, I felt like something had intensified between us, as possible as that seems. Drummond got me past the woman at the front desk, and just as I was about to head off my wing, a guardian named Uri walked by. Drummond called to him. You have been working with security, have not you? When was the last time they laid new watch? Uri considered. A couple of days ago. Why? Drummond gave me a meaningful look. Just curious. I nodded to Drummond to show that I understand his point, and then I went off to bed. After that, the next week or so played out in repetitive pattern. I followed Christian for 3 days a week, had my counseling session and trained with Drummond. During those times, I could see the concern on Drummond's face. He always asked how I was, but don't push me to talk about anything I don't want. Mostly it was all physical training, which I liked since it don't require too much ranting. Best of all, I don't see Manson during this time. I also don't witness any attacks of either the man type or the guardian type. We were in the full throes of the field experience, and every other known voice in my class was having regular fights. The test just grew increative and more difficult, and everyone had to stay on their toes. Eid seems to have to defend Lisa every other day from some guardians playing Strigoi, but it never happened when I was around. In fact, no attacks at all happened to anyone when I was around. After a while, I began to get the idea. They were going soft on me. They were worried I could not handle it. They might as well have cut me from the field experience after all. I grumbled to Christian one evening, I'm not doing anything. Yeah, but if you still pass, why worry about it? I mean, do you really want to get in the fight already? He rolled his eyes. Never mind, of course you do. You don't understand. I told him, this job is not about taking the easy way out. I want to prove what I can do to them and to myself. You can never get enough practice. I mean, Lisa's life is at stake, and also possibly my future with her. I could worried before that they might decide to replace me, and that was before they thought I was nuts. It was nearly curfew time, and I was dropping him off of the night. He shook his head. Rose, I don't know if you're crazy or not, but I'm actually starting to think you might be the best guardian, or soon to be the guardian out there. Did you just give me a serious compliment? I asked. He turned his back on me and headed inside his dorm. Good night. My life was still in shoes, but I could not help a small grin as I headed back towards my dorm. The walk always made me nervous since I now lived in perpetual fear of seeing Manson. There was other people securing back before curfew too, though, and he mostly tended to show up when I was alone, either because he preferred the privacy or because he really was a figment of my imagination. Talking about Lisa reminded me that I had hardly seen her today. Comfortable and content, I let my mind slip into hers while my body continued its walk. She was in the library, hurriedly trying to finish up some notes. Eve stood near her, glancing around. Better hurry up, he said teasingly. She is making another round. Almost done, said Lisa, scrawling a few more words. She shut the textbook just as the librarian came by and told them they had to leave now. With a sign of relief, Lisa stuffed her papers into her bag and followed Ed out. He picked it up and carried it over her shoulders as they went. You don't have to do that, she said. You're not my valet. You can have it back as soon as you can fix that. He gestures to where she was tangled in her throat. She stowed it on while trying to get out of the library on time. She laughed at her own disorderliness and adjusted the inside-out sleeve. Thanks, she said when he handed it back. No problem. Lisa liked it, thought, not in a romantic kind of way. She just thought he was nice. He did things like that all the time, helping her out while still doing an excellent job in his duties. His motivates were not romantic either. He was just one of those guys who could be both guardian and a badass. She had plans for him. Have you ever thought about asking Rose out? What? He asked. What? I thought. You guys just have so much in common. She said, trying to sound casual. Inside, she was excited. She thought this was the best idea in the world. For me, it was one of those moments where being in her mind was being too close to her. I could rather have been standing beside her so I could shake some sense into her. She is just my friend, he laughed, his face taking on kind of a cute shyness, and I don't think we could actually be that compatible. Besides, his expression fell. I could never go out with Manson's girlfriend. Lisa started to say what I always told her, that I had not actually been Manson's girlfriend. Wisely, she instead chose to let Ed keep believing the best. Everyone has to move on sometime. It has not been that long, not really, just over a month, and it is not really something you get over quickly. His eyes had a sad, faraway look that hurt both Lisa and me. I'm sorry, she said. I don't mean to make it sound like something small. What you saw, I know, it was horrible. You know what is weird? I actually don't remember much of it, and that is what is horrible. I was so drugged out there. I had no idea what was going on. I hate that. You have no idea being helpless like that. It is the worst thing in the world. I felt the same way. I think it was a guardian thing. Eth and I have never talked about it though. We could never even talked about Spokane much. It was not your fault, Lisa told him. Strigoi endorphins are strong. You could not have fought against them. I should have tried harder, he countered, holding the door to her dorm open. If I could have been even a little more conscious, I don't know, Manson might still be alive. Ed and I realized should both have been in therapy as soon as we got back from the winter break. I finally understood why everyone said blaming myself for Manson's death was irrational. Eid and I were both holding ourselves responsible for things that had been beyond our control. We were troubling ourselves with guilt we don't deserve. Hey, Liz, come here. The serious subject was put on hold as Jess and Ruff waved at her from across the room lobby. My defense immediately went up, so did hers. She don't like them any better than I did. What is this about? Asked Ed wearily. I don't know, she muttered, walking over. I hope it is fast. Jess gave her a dazzling smile, one that I had once found really hot. Now I saw it is the fake piece of crap it was. How is it going? He asked. It is going tired. She replied, I had to go to bed. What's up? Jess looked over at it. Could you give us a little privacy? Ed looked at Lisa. She nodded, and Ed backed up enough to be out of the earshot, but still watch her. When he was gone, Jess said, we have an invitation for you. To what? A party? Kind of. It is a group. Ruff was not so good with words, and Jess took over again. More than a group, it is only for allied people. He gestured around, you and me and Ruff. We are not like a lot of other Morai. We have not even like a lot of other royals. We have concerns and issues that we need to take care of. I thought it was funny that he could include Ruff. Ruff royalty was from his mother, Avoda, so he don't even carry one of the royal names, even if he technically has the blood. It sounds kind of snobby, she said. No offense. Thanks for the offer, though. That was Lisa, always polite even to creeps like these. You don't understand. We are not just sitting around. We are working to do things done. We are, he hesitated and then spoke more softly, working on ways to get our voices out there, to make people see our ways no matter what. Lisa gave an uncomfortable laugh. Sounds like compassion. So? I could not see her face, but I could feel her working hard to keep it straight as possible. Are you out of your mind? Compulsion is forbidden. It is wrong. Only to some people, and apparently not you since you are pretty good at it. She stiffened. Why could you think that? because a couple people actually hinted at it. People, I try to remember what Christian and I had said in the feeder room. We have never mentioned her by name, though both of us had bragged about having seen someone use compulsion and apparently just had noticed other things about her. Besides, it is actually kind of obvious. People love you. You have gotten out of so much trouble, and I finally figured out why. You have been working people over this whole time. I was watching you in classes the other day when you convinced Mr. Hill to let Christian work with you on that project. He never could have let anyone else do that. I had been with them in the class that day. Lisa actually had used compulsion on her teacher to get help for Christian. She could be so caught up in her pleas that she could compel Mr. Liz without even realizing it. Compared to other things I could seen her do, it had actually been a pretty weak show of compulsion. No one had noticed. Well, almost no one. Look, Lisa said uneasily. I seriously have no idea what you're talking about. I need to go to bed. Jess' face grew excited. No, it's okay. We think it is cool. We want to help you, or actually, we want you to help us. I cannot believe I have never noticed it before. You're really good at it, and we need you to show us. Plus, none of other than man. Chapters has a drag morai. We are be the first to have every royal family represented. She signed. If I could use compulsion, I could make you guys go away. I told you I'm not interested. But we need you, exclaimed Ref. Jess shot him a sharp look and then turned his smile back on Lisa. I had this weird feeling he might actually be trying to compel her, but it had absolutely no effect on her or me since I was watching through her eyes. It is not just about you helping us. There are groups of men at every school, said Jess. He was leaning close and suddenly he don't look very friendly anymore. If it is members all over the world, you be a part of it and you will have the connections to do whatever you want with your life. And if we can all learn to work compulsion, we can stop the Morai government from doing stupid things. We can make sure the queen and everyone else may make the right decision. Everything about this is good for you. I'm doing fine on my own, thanks, she said, stepping back, and I'm not really sure you know what is best for Morai. Fine. With your strigoi boyfriend and sluttery Wanby guardian? Exclaimed Ruff. He spoke loudly enough to get Eid attention, and Eid did not look happy. Be quiet, just told him angrily. He turned to Lisa. He should not have said that, but he is kind of right. Your family reputation is all on you, and the way you're going, no one is taking you seriously. The queen's already trying to keep you in line and get you away from Ozira. You're going to crash and burn. Lisa was growing angrier and angrier. You have no idea what you're talking about. Anne, she frowned. What do you mean she is trying to get me away from Christian? She wants to marry. Ruff started to speak, but Jess immediately cut him off. That is exactly what I'm talking about, said Jess. We know all sort of things that could affect you and help you. You and Christian. I had a feeling that Ruff had been about to mention the Queen wants to marry Lisa off to Adrian. I was puzzling out how he could know about that until I recalled again, and half was related to Voda's. Priscilla Voda was the Queen's advisor and best friend. She knew all the Queen's plans and probably told Ruff. His relationship to her must have been close to than I could even realized. Tell me, Lisa demanded. The thought of using compulsion on him actually crossed her mind, but she dismissed it. She could not lower herself to do that. What do you know about Christian? No free information, said Jess. Come to a meeting and we will tell you everything. Whatever, I'm not interested in your allied connections, and I don't know anything about compulsion. Despite her words, she was incensely curious about what he knew. She started to turn away, but Jess grabbed her arm. Damn it, you have to. Lisa is going to bed now, said Aid. He shot over as soon as Jess touched her. Remove your hand or I will do it for you. Jess glared at Eid. Like most Morai Dampier matchups, Jess had height and Eid had muscles. Of course, Jess had rough bulk too, but it could not matter. Everyone knew here who could win if Eid went up against them. The beauty of it was that Eid probably could not even get in trouble if he claimed he could done it to save Lisa from harassment. Jess and Ruff slowly backed off. We need you, said Jess. You're the only one. Think about it. Why then? When they were gone, Eid asked, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, thanks." "God, that was so weird." They moved towards the stairs. "What was it about? They obsessed with the Royal Society or something and want me to join so they can have every royal family in it. They were kind of fantastic about it." Eid knew about Sprit, but she could not comfortably remind him what a badass she was with compulsion. He opened the door for her. "Well, they can annoy you all they want, but they cannot make you join something you don't want to." "Yes, I suppose." But her first still wondered what they knew about Preston or if it had been a bluff. "I just hope they don't get too annoying." "Don't worry," he told her, his voice hard. "I will make sure they don't." I slipped back to my body and opened the door to my dorm. Halfway by the stairs, I discovered I was smiling. I certainly don't want Jess and Ruff bothering Bliss. But if it come down to Eid having to rough them up, yeah, I could not mind seeing them a little get a little payback for what they could done to others.